Gentlemen and gentlewomen, let's act like mature adults here, yeah? If you're a subscriber of this channel, or you're just a random, which you should be subscribed, then you're probably familiar of what a femboy is. If not, I won't go on a tangent explaining them, but I will at least show you this video. I will recommend it. Yeah, click on that. Yeah, there's your recommendation. Alright, it's gone now. You took too long. There's been a rapid growth of them appearing over the past few years, even more so during this quarantine, I feel. Now, whether you're a guy that's attracted to these femboys, whether you like to admit it or not, or you're a guy that's just not big on the idea of femboys at all.
Hey, that girl's fine as hell.
Thank you.
The question still lingers for both sides. Where did they come from? Now, although I may not know the first male to wear a skirt and thigh highs and start talking like a girl, I could entertain the thought of why they're more common nowadays. But first, I think we need to talk about cross-dressing in cartoons. Also known as drag, as far back as the 1950s, there was often a peculiar phenomena of male characters depicted wearing women's clothing every now and again. This was usually used as a disguise or just a quick funny, until around the 90s, a little show called the Powerpuff Girls came about. You might be asking, what is the importance of the Powerpuff Girls in this video? Well, in the context of this video, it had a character known as him, who was portrayed as a male in somewhat feminine clothing. But what separated him from all the characters of the other cartoons is this wasn't for any gag, this was him. He simply was just a flamboyant male wearing women's clothing. Fast forward to the present year, and you start to realize that seeing male characters depicted as a bit more feminine isn't really much new anymore. And this is only talking about the American side of things, don't even get me started on Japan. But now, what does this old gag for male cartoon characters have to do with males in the present dressing like women? Well, before I can really give a clear answer, let me take a moment to talk about male masculinity, or more or less the idea. See, for the longest time, women were known as the stay-at-home moms, while males were known as the hard-working fathers bringing food and money to the family. But in the midst of all that, males that were more feminine and, let's just cut to the chase, gay, they were outlawed. Besides the whole crime and legal aspect behind it, males were always trained to always be very, very masculine. Oh my. If males were seen wearing women's apparel and acting very feminine, they would be ridiculed. This has actually led to another issue of males just not really able to be comfortable with themselves. This doesn't go for every male, but it's quite common to see a man that can't really tell another man, hey, I care about you, without the fear that it sounded just the slightest bit gay. Or that a man needs to be strong and he can't cry in such sensitive moments. It's been an issue amongst us males for quite some time now. But as times are changing and people are being more open with themselves, we're starting to see less of this now. Now we'll see that it's more common for males to feel very, very comfortable in each other's presence with not really any fears in mind or lingering thoughts. We have a lot of emotional ass males these days, but you know what? At least they're expressing themselves. And finally, on the extreme side of it, we have femboys. Now, people always like to twist this around and call this just simply a gay thing. And although if you are a guy that is into femboys, that is gay. No cap, that's gay as fuck, my guy. That doesn't mean that all femboys are gay though. Once you really look at it, these males are just extremely comfortable with themselves and they don't really care what society has to say about them. Whether they dress like this one time a week or maybe every day, it doesn't really matter. The attention shouldn't be given to the clothes that some children in China probably made for no money, but rather the person behind the clothing. Cause when it all comes down to it, whether you wear a skirt, pants, tank top, or a flannel, your clothes don't define you, you define you. Clothing is just clothing. If somebody sees what someone's wearing and they start making assumptions, that's just their own problem. And now, we're at a point where it's so normal that it kind of has its own spot on YouTube, where you'll see a vast amount of male content creators just chilling and basically just being da boys. And now this brings me back to cross-dressing in cartoons. Cause whether intentional or not, this old gag helped pave the way for normalizing the more feminine side of males. The main takeaway from this is, do what makes you happy. And don't let society bring you down for being comfortable with yourself. And now whether you like or dislike femboys, now you kind of know where it all comes from. I mean, hey, perhaps there's praise to be given to men that have sold their last strand of decency due to a lack of love and affection from the world for the attention from random strangers online that are confused with their own sexuality to finally feel a sense of validation in their uneventful lives. Or maybe, just maybe, sometimes a man just likes to feel pretty. So there's a little deep dive into femboys and how they kind of came to be, at least in my opinion. Agree or disagree with anything I had to say in the video? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed or agreed with anything I had to say in the video, leave a like. Till the next video, bye bye.